Good evening. Pastor Apollo Quiboloy and his 4 co-accused will remain at the Philippine National Police Custodial Center in Camp Crame, Quezon City, despite a court order for their transfer to the Quezon City Jail. In a press conference on Tuesday, September 10, PNP spokesperson Colonel Jean Fajardo says they also received an order from a Pasig City Court directing the PNP to retain the custody of Quiboloy and his subordinates. A Quezon City Court earlier issued an order to transfer and commit Quiboloy and Crescente, Canada to the new Quezon City Jail in Payatas Road, Bagong Silangan. Quiboloy's other co-accused, Jacqueline Roy, Ingrid Canada, and Sylvia Semañez were committed to the Quezon City Jail, a female dormitory in Camp Caringal. However, Fajardo says the PNP can't risk transferring Quiboloy and the others to the Quezon City Jail and then post bail for their sexual and child abuse case. She adds that the PNP will harmonize the court orders from the Quezon City and Pasig City courts. Quiboloy and the others are also facing a non-bailable human trafficking case before a Pasig City court. The televangelist and his 4 subordinates have been detained at the PNP Custodial Center since their capture on September 8 in Davao City. The Department of National Defense has filed a motion to oppose the camp of detained Pastor Apollo Quiboloy's petition to transfer his custody from the police to the military. The DND filed the motion before Pasig Regional Trial Court Branch 159 on Tuesday afternoon, September 10. According to Assistant Secretary Eric D., the cases filed against Quiboloy are under the jurisdiction of civilian courts, noting that the accused is not a member of the Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Ang mga allegation po laban sa mga akusado ay pawang mga heinous crimes na nasasaklaw po ng ating mga civilian courts. Ang mga akusado po sa kasong ito ay hindi po miyembro ng AFP. Yung mga allegation din po laban sa kanila ay hindi po nasasaklaw ng ating mga general courts martial.
D points out that the detention centers in the AFP are for military officers and personnel charged or convicted of service-related offenses under the jurisdiction of the General Court Martial. The camp of Quiboloy filed on Monday, September 9, a petition to put the embattled religious leader to house arrest or his custody be transferred to a facility of the AFP. Quiboloy's lawyer Israelito Torion cited security concerns as well as his client's age. On September 10, PNP spokesperson Colonel Jean Fajardo said the Pasig court issued an order directing the PNP to retain the custody of Quiboloy and 4 other subordinates after a Quezon City court directed their transfer to jails in Quezon City. Quiboloy and 5 others are facing child abuse cases before a Quezon City court and non-bailable human trafficking cases before the Pasig court. A House of Representatives panel is again deferring the deliberations on the Office of the Vice President's proposed allocations for 2025 after no one from the office showed up to defend their budget request. At the tail end of the hearing on Tuesday, September 10, Appropriations Vice Chair Representative Raul Angelo Bongalon moved to defer the OVP proposed budget out of disappointment with Vice President Sara Duterte's absence. According to Bongalon, questions remained unanswered, citing the need to scrutinize the OVP's budget.
Ang kini-question ko po dito, Madam Chair, is yung importansya ng pag-a-attend at pag-scrutinize ng budget. Having said that, Madam Chair, I move that we defer the deliberation. I move that we defer the termination of the deliberation of the proposed budget of the Office of the Vice President, subject to conditions either, number 1, reduce the proposed budget of the Office of the Vice President, and number 2, place the certain funds on hold until further discussions are held.
Bongalon's motion was approved by Appropriations Senior Vice Chairperson Representative Stella Kimbo after it was duly seconded. After this, Bongalon also moved to terminate the committee's budget hearings, which was approved by Kimbo as well. Deliberations on the OVP's budget were initially deferred on August 27 after Duterte refused to directly answer lawmakers' questions, including those related to confidential funds and expenditures of the OVP. The Vice President replied to lawmakers by either saying that she forgoes the opportunity to defend the budget in a question-and-answer format or by insisting that they have already coordinated with the Commission on Audit regarding the notice of disallowance. The second round of deliberations was rescheduled to September 10, but neither Duterte nor any OVP representative showed up to defend their proposed budget. Instead, Duterte wrote a letter to Speaker Martin Romualdez and Appropriations Panel Chair Representative Elizalde Co to state that her office has already submitted the necessary documents to the House panel. Several lawmakers called out Duterte's absence at the September 10 hearing, noting that not even the country's second highest official can insult Congress. The Philippine Navy records the largest ever presence of Chinese ships in the West Philippine Sea for the third straight week. A total of 207 China Coast Guard ships, People's Liberation Army Navy warships, and Chinese maritime militia vessels were logged from September 3 to 9. This is higher than the 203 Chinese ships, warships, and the militia vessels recorded from August 27 to September 2, and the 163 Chinese ships logged from August 20 to August 26. West Philippine Sea Monitor Roy Powell earlier reported that Chinese maritime militia vessels fled Panatag Shoal to Hainan Island in China on September 3 as Tropical Cyclone Enteng headed to the West Philippine Sea. But 6 Chinese maritime militia vessels and a Chinese Coast Guard ship sailed back to Panatag Shoal on September 8 following the storm. Beijing's presence is based on its assertion of sovereignty in almost the entire South China Sea, including most of the West Philippine Sea, even if such a claim has been effectively invalidated by the arbitral award issued in July 2016. The landmark ruling stemmed from a case filed by Manila in 2013, or a year after its standoff with Beijing at Panatag Shoal. Vice President Sara Duterte is accusing Speaker Martin Romualdez and House Committee on Appropriations Chair Elizalde Co of allegedly controlling and manipulating the allocation of the national budget. In a video interview shared by the Office of the Vice President on Tuesday, September 10, Duterte says Romualdez and Co supposedly control and manipulate the budget allocation as they see fit for their personal gain. She cites a particular incident involving the Department of Education's 2023 budget in which 5 billion pesos were allocated for classroom construction. But Duterte claims some members of the House suddenly asked for a share of that budget, which she refused and insisted on using it for classroom needs. Because of this, Duterte says the House allegedly raised the budget by 10 billion pesos, the portion supposedly, quote, controlled by Romualdez and Co.
Kaya kung makikita ninyo sa budget proposal na approved ng Office of the President, 5 billion yon. Pero nung lumabas yung GAA o yung budget approved noong 2023, naging 15 billion siya. Dahil hindi nga ako pumayag na kunin yung 5 billion, dinagdagan nila ng 10 billion yung classroom construction ng Department of Education.
In response, Co says Duterte's statements are nothing but another scam attempt which he believes Filipinos would not fall for.
Pambubudol na naman po yan. Napakalaking pambubudol. Akala nila ang taong bayan hindi matalino. Matalino po. Sasagutin po natin yan. Una-una po, ang miyembro po ng Appropriations is around 139. Ang Vice Chair po is around 56. Ang Congressman po is 300. Meron po tayong mga senador na 24. Meron pong miyembro ng Bicameral Conference Committee after the budget deliberation ng House and Senate.
According to Co, they will have a meeting to discuss the fate of the OVP budget after the deliberations were deferred anew. Neither Duterte nor any representative from her office attended the House Committee on Appropriations hearing on September 10, opting to send a letter saying the OVP has already submitted all necessary documents to the panel. Deliberations on the OVP's proposed 2025 budget on August 27 was initially deferred due to Duterte not directly answering lawmakers' questions, including queries regarding her office's budget utilization. The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission and Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group have filed qualified human trafficking charges against Cassandra Ong and 51 others. According to PAOK spokesperson Winston Casio in a social media post, the charges were filed at the Department of Justice in connection to their alleged involvement in the so-called scam farm in Porac, Pampanga, Lucky South 99. Among the respondents is Ronaldin Baterna, the documented corporate secretary of Lucky South 99. In June, the Philippine offshore gaming operator Lucky South 99 was raided and shut down by PAOK on suspicion that it was involved in torture, human trafficking, and illegal scamming activities. It stood on land owned by Whirlwind Corporation, of which Ong was a stakeholder. Ong is a key resource person in the House of Representatives probe into illegal drugs, pogo operations, as well as extrajudicial killings. Ong is also the girlfriend of Wesley Go, who was identified as the brother of dismissed Bamban Mayor Alice Go. However, Ong denied ever being close to Alice, saying she only knew the disgraced mayor because she is Wesley's sister. In June, PAOK and the PNP CIDG filed a qualified human trafficking complaint against the dismissed Bamban Mayor in connection with a raided Pogo hub in her town. Go and Ong are also facing 87 counts of money laundering filed by the Anti-Money Laundering Council, National Bureau of Investigation, and PAOK in August. Direct flights between the Philippines and France will be available starting December 8, according to the Department of Transportation. Transport Secretary Jaime Bautista says in a palace briefing on Tuesday, September 10, that these direct flights represent the first direct connection between the Philippines and Europe since the COVID-19 pandemic. This development follows the signing of an agreement to expand the technical cooperation on aviation safety between the Philippines and France. According to General Manager of Air France, KLM for Southeast Asia and Oceania, Femke Croese, these flights will begin on December 8 and will be available in three days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. The flight time will take approximately 14 hours. French Ambassador to the Philippines, Marie Fontanelle, tags the opening of the direct flights as a real Christmas present as it opens in December and is in line with the reopening of Notre Dame in Paris. According to Fontanelle, the direct non-stop service between the Philippines and France will most likely boost trade, tourism, and exchanges between the two countries and more generally with the European Union. These are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.